Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest version of Tales from Outer Space, where I take an HFY story from somewhere around the internet and read it aloud for your enjoyment. All the relevant links are down below. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube comf to help this video and channel grow. Anyways, as always, I hope that you enjoy. I would like to give a quick thanks to our Tier 5 channel members and patrons. Fallen Angel, Buzz Killington. Thank you again. Now on to the story. Story number 1. We Don't Need Your Help. Written by British Tea Company. The clack of the Empress's heels disturbed the ancient stones of the Imperial Palace, but the dead dared not rise to intervene. This place was a birthright, and she was attached to it any more than those who bowed here. Outside a ruined window, the Terran wasteland howled up a sandy storm as the sun pierced through the dusty skies. Terra, the birthplace of an empire, now little more than a ruined memory. Her companion buzzed its robotic language to her as it floated by her, whirling and whimpering at the strangling darkness which awaited them in the ruins of the old throne room. Once opulent and imperial, there was nothing but a forlorn memory of past greatness and a dust which littered all over the ground. Miranda opened her palm, and a small bauble of light rose above her head. Glancing around the area, and being careful to not get much dust on her robes, opening the tablet and flicking through the notes that had been painstakingly left by her mother before her, the heir to the Empire pointed at the ground. Her drone gave a few reluctant beeps and whirls before clearing the dust from the area. A small emblem stared back at her, aligning her blue irises with a small keyhole at the center. The ancient machinery in the ruins stirred to life as the floor began to shift and shake. A stairway, which led down deep into the earth, waited for them in the twisting steps. There were thousands of steps which her ancestors would have taken, but her psychic decided instead to float her way down. Sigils came to life all around them until her journey's end. Her prize lay just ahead beyond 2 massive doors. Lined with the hardiest metals in the galaxy, there was no question about it. This was a tomb. She made a small, accusing gesture, as though censuring the doors for blocking her path. In an instant, a hole of the size of a person burned the way through the small obstacle, and she was able to step in. For 8,000 years, this room hadn't had a breathing soul inside. For 8,000 years, this room had finally had 2 souls sharing it. When the vaulted doors fell, she had already felt his presence. Staring at the source was not like looking at the prodigious psychics of the past stories who shined like stars themselves. No, staring at him was like looking deep into the maw of a black hole, only to realize that deep within this dark maw, something was looking back at you. The twisted face of undeath and machinery turned to greet her as the presence rose from his throne. It was hard to fathom where the necrotic flesh began and where it ended underneath fluttering cloak made up of countless nanomachines, each moving and acting with minds of their own. For the first time today, Miranda was scared. The presence did not speak. He was in her head even before he turned to acknowledge she had come in here. A million questions and whispers assaulted her head, all part of the first trial to see if she was even as much as worthy as conversing with him, giving satisfactory answers. The experience was harrowing, but thankfully not fatal. "I've come for your aid, to ask of service of you," Miranda said as her companion hid behind her, even his mechanical mind comprehending what manner of creature stood before them. The familiarity of the way it spoke through its lipless mouth made it all the more unsettling. and it was an assault on all she held dear that who she spoke with now was a distant but significant ancestor. "And what might that be?" the former emperor asked as he set himself down upon the ground. What was it that motivated this whelp to come mewing to him? This naive quest for knowledge, the selfish folly of ambition, or perhaps some quest that he had undertaken all those aeons ago. In our borders, a foe from the stars makes a move against us. Weakened from the death of my mother and former empress, I have now inherited her duties to guard our people. I come asking for your aid against this threat. And why should I help you? Because we are kin, you and I. You come from my father's side. If not for that reason, then because when you reigned, the oath of the Terran Emperor still remained the same, as it was my duty to do my best to guard our people. I beseech you, follow the laws you defended in life. The Empire is my birthright, and its continued existence as something that you guarded in life. I ask of you again to defend it in our death. I answer no laws, and I am bound to nothing. Look upon my body, and tell me if it as much looks like I still have blood to share with you. If you come demanding I follow the laws, I suggest you find someone who can enforce it. You certainly can't. Miranda clenched her teeth. Then, what can I do to get your aid? Only a bargain. The abomination spoke as his mouth slowly stretched into a necrotic grin. Don't look so suspicious, little one. I only ask for your dead. In exchange, I have a wealth of technology and knowledge which may prove helpful to your cause. Perhaps I may personally step in to aid you. Miranda's eyes narrowed. If you tell me I can't enforce the laws, how could I expect you to honor this deal? Somehow you, of all things, suddenly become the best choice for the Empire. An arrogant whelp calling out for such things like birthright and laws. But in my day, we used actions, not long-winded and puffed-up statements to prove ourselves. I am the most powerful psychic in the galaxy after my mother and you. Don't think for an instant that I am weak, Miranda snarled. Your mother is dead, whelp. She can't protect you. Power is nothing without the will to use it. Do you have the will to win? Do you have the desire to succeed and survive? Then you will do as I ask. Buried on this grave old world is information from the past age that I will happily give to you in exchange for your dead. Miranda swallowed again. You want more people like yourself? No! Just as you have a dream to preserve what's left of the Empire, I have a dream to bring it back. Think for a second now, blood of my blood. What would happen if we rebuilt this world to its former glory? A necropolis, rising from the grave and once again becoming an undisputed top of the galaxy's pyramid. I don't think it's worth bringing back, especially in the way which I know you intend to bring it back. And I don't think your empire's worth saving either. But that's how we will compromise, little one. A part of the past simply needs to survive, if you wish to save the present. Miranda closed her eyes. Her mother would roll in her grave right now, knowing what kind of powers she had consulted with. Did she have any choice, though? No! I don't need you. I don't need to consort with a thing as half as wild as you are. A ruler's first goals are to her people. Your first goals should be to your people now, but instead you would rather sit here on a dead world and reminisce about the past. You lecture me about actions. Fine, I'll prove to the galaxy I don't need you. Terrankind is better off making deals with creatures such as yourself. My first mistake was thinking that we were related. My apologies, stranger. The Lich wondered whether or not he should have smiled or been wrathful. When you come pleading to me again for help, I promise you my terms will be far more rough, little princess. I prefer little empress. Miranda waved as she left his tomb. The next time I come back here is to tell you I've won without your help. Her companion gave a slight turn, whirling in relief to be out of the room. The two of them left to leave the undead emperor to his rest once again. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.